YouTube.
Where? Oh, yeah.
You can sit down. It's when we go outside. Well, I had to play with it today to figure out exactly where to be from point A to point B, but then I couldn't use the clicker because it was too far from there. This is going to be very intimate this evening. Oh, wait, except for everybody that's out there in La La Land. Hello, everybody out there in La La Land. Okay, so tonight we're going to try to get ourselves back on track, and hopefully the train will help us. So I first want to say to everybody, it's kind of weird. Who's that? I want to say to everybody that I'm really sorry about the very short email that canceled the January CCE. But if you haven't heard, we were one of the lucky ones who got to enjoy COVID for the holidays. So it turns out that my husband was a super spreader. He brought it home from work, and it only took 2 meals, Christmas Eve and Christmas morning brunch, for 9 days later for my mom and I to have COVID. So he got off a little bit easier than the two of us, and I got off easier than she, but we all got off better than most. So we thank God for those little blessings that he gives us. So where are we? Well, obviously we're a little bit behind a perfect schedule, but a pandemic is never a perfect schedule, so I'm not sweating that too much. We have our plan for Ash Wednesday. I feel very comfortable that what I share with you later will be the actual plan. That's only 2 weeks out, so unless something went crazy, that should be solid. We do have a confirmation date, and confirmation classes are scheduled. That is on the website, and if you have a confirmation day or two, there's a paper copy of that schedule. We do now have a plan for First Reconciliation, First Communion, and we're going to start that next week. Tammy's going to do those classes. Right now it looks like twice a month at 4 o'clock, and we're going to start that next Wednesday, February the 10th. The goal will be to complete that and have First Communion Divine Mercy Sunday. And youth group has also struggled with trying to be together because of numbers, whether those are countywide numbers or DISD numbers, or it just hasn't worked out for them, but they do plan to get together this month. So we were working on our prayers at home. Did anybody work on prayers at home? Did anybody go to the website and look up your prayers for prayers at home? Okay, good answer. Yeah, I got it. Hello, thank you. Okay, so you would go to Deepen Your Faith, and right under CCE, it says prayers. And when you click that, you can now go to any grade and click the grade and click a prayer. and it will take you to that prayer. So you can print those if you want them. They're kind of been made nice with borders. I didn't do that. That's an archdiocese gift. And, but you can now go look at all of those. Some of them are very straightforward that we're used to, but I know that there are some grades that now have some interesting add-ons. And so we now have like the precepts of the church that 6th grade now has to learn. And so I know that there's a grade that has to know Psalms. There's a grade that has to know a couple of different verses. Those are all out there now for the student, but also for any of us that also need that catch up, okay? So will there be prayer awards? There's not going to be prayer awards this year. But is it an excellent tool for you on the website to be with your family and spend time in prayer? Absolutely. So if you have any questions or if you find something that doesn't mix, let me know. And over Christmas, I did pick up Webmaster too. So I will go out and fix the website. Don't ask for much.
There's not a
Yes.
active contrition is on that one, it's not the one that Father wants them to know, he wants them to know the shorter version.
That is the archdiocese.
Yeah, he gave us another little one, because he said those words were too hard for them. Yeah.
Good thing I'm not on TV. Okay, so I just was told that Father has a different active contrition. Will you send that to me?
Yes, I will.
So Tammy will send that active contrition that Father wants, and I will add that to the website so you can see probably more of a traditional one and then a short form one that Father's going to ask for this year. He is the pastor.
He gave me that one, I think, like 2 years ago after he told me to rewrite it, and make it
Yeah, makeup first. It's good. Okay, so we just got our throats blessed. In a traditional format, it is 2 candles that are made into an X, and Father would put those on either side of our throats and say the blessing that we received tonight. St. Blaise was a bishop. He came from a very wealthy family in Armenia. Do you remember the story of a miracle? Anybody remember a miracle that Deacon told us tonight about St. Blaise? Yes, you remember what the miracle was?
I think some kid got like a fishbone or something stuck in his throat, so like something happened and he didn't die of the truth.
Right. So a mother brought her child who had a fishbone caught in her throat, and the child would have died, but St. Blaise prayed over him, and the fishbone left, and the child was saved. But it's really, that's why he's known as the patron of throats and diseases, but it's not my favorite miracle. My favorite miracle about St. Blaise is he had a vision that said, you need to leave to avoid persecution. So he left, and he went and he lived in the hills with wild animals and took care of these animals. Sounds kind of like St. Francis, eh? So he did a really good job of avoiding getting captured and imprisoned, but unfortunately, they eventually caught up with him. So they're hauling him back in for jail time, and there's this old lady on the side of the road, and she is distraught. She is crying. She is so sad. And he says, why are you so sad? What terrible thing has happened to make you like this? And she said, a wolf came and carried off my one and only pig. And I have no pig. And St. Blaise said, I got it. He said, give me a minute. So St. Blaise goes, he tracks down that wolf, and he tells that wolf, you give that lady back her pig. And the wolf brought the pig back, not a scratch on him, not harmed at all. So that's a second miracle for St. Blaise. But yeah, can you see St. Blaise dressing down a wolf on the side of the road and says, bring that pig back to that lady. And sure enough, he did. So he's the patron saint of sufferers from throat diseases. And actually, they do say that he is also a patron saint for other illnesses. So that's February 3rd. Just happened that it was a Wednesday and we got to do that today. All right, so we have a special task. Normally on a Wednesday night, getting close to Ash Wednesday, Deacon Gerald will come up and he'll ask us to help him burn palms. But it's COVID, so we're gonna do it for him. So we're gonna go outside and we are going to burn the palms. These are palms that were blessed last year and used for Palm Sunday. And so if you think about does anybody remember what happens on Palm Sunday? That's Ash Wednesday. What happens on Palm Sunday?
Process them with palms and sing hosanna.
That's right. It's when Jesus comes in and they are so excited to see him and they're throwing palms on the street to keep it clean and give him a carpet to walk, to ride in on. We're all so excited to see him, and a week later we put him up on a cross. It's a good week to be Jesus, isn't it? So Palm Sunday is the start of Holy Week, and we use the palms in remembrance of that moment. And then now we take those same palms and we burn them to create the ashes for Ash Wednesday. And what is Ash Wednesday? That's what we say. But what is the Ash Wednesday the start of? Lent. So it's full circle from the day he comes in with the palms and the celebration and the exuberation to Ash Wednesday when we go back into a time of fasting and prayer and almsgiving and preparing for Easter. So with that, let's go outside. If you're not with us physically and you're on the YouTube Live, give us a few minutes. We'll be back. Just walking in front of them. Yes. On the ground.
I think we did. We're burning them.
Did y'all miss us? We're back. Okay, so what'd you think? Is that cool to make ashes for Ash Wednesday? Yeah. Y'all did a good job. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Lent. Lent starts when? Ash Wednesday. And how long is Lent? Until Easter. That's kind of cheating, but that is the correct answer. So how long is Lent? Anybody remember? 40 days. Very good. So our Ash Wednesday is February the 17th. And it's going to be a little bit different this year. Why? Because we have a pandemic. One of these days we won't have to say that word. So there will be 2 masses, one at 9 a.m., one at 6 p.m. And the norm for distribution of ashes this year is not to physically touch you and make a sign of a cross, but you will bow your head and ashes will be sprinkled into your hair. Now, before everybody freaks out, because this has been an internet phenomenon, if you follow any Catholic sites or Twitters, because everybody in the United States is going, what? No, that's so wrong, you can't do that, it's an abomination. Well, no, it's not. It's really how it's been done. It's just we kind of switch things up. And so this is norm for somebody who's in Italy or a European country. So everybody can breathe, that we're not doing anything crazy here. We're just using a form that's been around for hundreds of years. It's just that's not what we in the United States think of as how ashes are distributed. So in light of that, because we have new carpet, I guess, they have decided that we will have Mass and then we will step outside of the church and the ashes will be distributed outside. So if the weather is perfect, we will come out the front doors and we'll do it out there. If it's inclement or rainy or something, then we'll use our covered walkways to do the ash distribution. So 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., 2 masses, and remember you'll go up, bow your head, get a little dusting of ashes in your hair. So don't wash your hair that day and the ashes will absorb anything.
What if the church is too cool, like, it's evening time?
I'm gonna make an assumption that we will come in here for overflow. But I know that right now they're not planning on overflow. So, and then after Mass, same thing, we'll just line up and process up to get ashes, whether it's in the front or under the walkways. Okay? Any other questions? Okay.
Like, you're just standing there.
Yeah, you're just gonna bow, kind of like you're going up for a blessing, and they'll just sprinkle a pinch. They're not gonna take the salt shaker, but just a little pinch. You'll actually probably end up with less ashes this way than well, depending if you go to father or deacon, but normally, so, okay? All right, so what other things do we have to consider during Lent? So Friday, abstinence and fasting. So here's the rules. If you are 14 or older, you are asked to abstain from meat on Fridays. Okay? And if you are 18 to 59 years old, I'm getting close to that upper number. You are asked to also fast, meaning one meal the day. You can have 2 snack meals, lighter meals, but they cannot be greater than the 1 meal you choose. And so who is the exception? Well, obviously, if you have some kind of health condition or you have some medicines, the first one that they talk about is somebody who's diabetic, who has to maintain blood sugar levels and things. Those are going to get you an exception. And then obviously if you're younger. Now, can you do it if you're younger than 14? Yes. Can you do the fasting if you're younger than 18? Yes. So not think about, woo-hoo, I get off, but think about what is God asking you to do. So I always think that if I can do it, if I can kneel the whole time, if I can get down to genuflect, if I can fast, if I can abstain from meat, if I can do that for Him, then I'm going to choose to do it or try to do it. So think about it more in those terms than what I don't have to do. So what are you giving up, right? That's the traditional thing for Lent. It's 40 days. What am I giving up for Lent? That's the Catholic motto. Well, again, think about it not, can you live without a Coke for 40 days? But maybe there's something you need to give up to be closer to Him. So maybe you're not on your Xbox for 30 minutes to an hour every day. Maybe you're not taking money and buying sodas or candies or things, and you're giving that money to help somebody else. Or we forget a lot of the time, we think about time and talent and treasure, but we forget about that time piece, right? So if you're not doing another activity, can you be helpful? Can you serve somebody? Can you help mom unload the dishwasher? Can you help a brother or sister with homework? Can you help mow a yard? Or, hey, it's spring, can you help somebody who needs help in their yard pull their weeds and get things ready? So think about your time, your talent, and your treasure, and that's what you're being asked to do, right? That's what He's asking you to do, not something so easy and trivial as, oh, I'm not going to eat desserts for 40 days. Now, that may be the thing you need to do because of your health or something, but try to think more of what it is that I can do, what I can sacrifice, what I can give to Him, not so much what I got to give up. All right? Any questions about that? About Lent? Requirements for Lent? Okay, I think the Casey's are still going to have their fish fries, but it will be to-go plates only. And they are still planning to do Stations of the Cross on Friday. If you've never done a Stations of the Cross, does anybody know what Stations of the Cross are? They are the wooden things in the church. Good job. So yeah, so it is the Passion of Christ, His steps, and so there's a reflection and a prayer as we go around the church, thinking about those moments. So it is a nice thing to do during Lent. So if you haven't done that, we do those every Friday. Check the bulletin, because if I tell you it's 6, I'll be wrong. Yes.
I get this question, and I'm loving this whole presentation. So I'm curious to know what your answer is. What about the abstinence during Lent on Sundays? Some people say that every Sunday is a miniature Easter, and so they don't abstain on Sundays in Lent, and some people are like, no, I'm trucking all the way to Easter. So what is the official guidance, and what is your thought on that?
Sundays do not count as part of the 40 days of Lent. Sundays are a holy day, so they are, I hate that term, but mini Easter, if you will. So you do not have to. So Sundays are they're a feast day.
Feast day, okay. So
Yeah.
but you can still if you want to.
Absolutely. The old teaching was every Friday, not just the Fridays of Lent.
Right.
Every Friday is Fish Friday for Catholics. It was an abstinence day all year long, not just for Lent. So there's always more you can do, but the current church guidelines and teachings are that Sundays are still a feast day.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay? All right, other questions about Lent? All right, so next week, no, boy, that's a hard habit. Next month for March 3rd, no, March 3rd, it is March 3rd. What we're gonna do is we're gonna back up and we're gonna capture Mass and church tour. So March 3rd, what we'll do is we will stay in the church after Mass, and we will go over parts of the Mass, and we will do a little exploring of the church and maybe see some things we don't normally see, and hopefully answer some questions you may have about things that you do see in the church or things you do hear in the church, but you don't know why we do those things or where that tradition comes from. Okay? Any other questions? Do you have a question, Ethan? No? Okay, so until First Communion next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and then we'll be back together on March the 3rd for CCE, God willing. Amen?
Amen.
All right. Remember to pray for me, because I'm always praying for you. Be bold.
Be Catholic.
Oh, that was really, just really heartfelt. So remember to be bold and
Be Catholic.
there you go. All right, thank y'all.